Okay. Call the meeting in order. Do a roll call. Trevor Bundy here. Brendan Bunger
Here.
Charles Foster here. Heather Evans
Here.
Joel Holscher here. Julie Line.
Here.
Matt Watnick.
Here.
Michaela and Pete are both present. Let's see. Okay, we'll start with public time. Does anybody want to go first?
Can I just say something,
Yep.
Trevor, before? I just wanted to say, for public time, I've, of course, read all the things on Facebook about that. And we are a new council and we are really trying. I mean, and I think we're doing a good job of being transparent. And if we ever made anybody in council feel uncomfortable, I want to apologize for that because we want to hear your concerns. And it just bothered me a little bit. Well, like a whole lot. Okay. And because we're trying and we need feedback from the community. We can't just be picked at and not have anybody who is willing to come and show up and give their opinions or new feedback. So I just really wanted to say that. And that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, just to be glad, I mean, we're all residents of Colton too. I mean, we're doing exactly what we feel in our heart is the correct direction for Colton. I mean, you may not agree with us and that's okay. But I mean, discussion is to be had and I want to have a friendly, open discussion with everybody. So going forward, maybe you want to.
Oh, I suppose I can. So it looks like here we're going to be put in for an $800,000 grant, and the estimated total cost is 1.2 million or 1,200,000. So we're going to be $400,000 short of the grant. And I understand you guys are saying that the cost of the lots will pay for that 400,000. But as poor of a city we are, and as many citizens that we have that are on fixed incomes and stuff, and people like me that are maxed out on their scales that not considered fixed income, but I can never go any higher than the 1.2 a year that they give us at VA.
Yep.
So, you got people with medical conditions that are paying a lot out there, so you can assume that somebody's single with no kids and can afford stuff, but you don't know what the issue is, what they're actually paying out. So to assume that I don't think is correct or right. And I know I am struggling with the $100 a month water bill that we have. And my concern with this is that it's going to cost more than what the estimate is. And even if the lots do cover it, the question would be, are the lots going to be covered on when we have to pay for everything getting done, will we have to fork over money before the lots are sold?
We won't be, this will have nothing to do with our utility bills. We can't, we won't dip into the utility bills to pay for that.
But my concern, I guess, is from past experiences here with our water bills being raised as high as it is now today.
Mm-hmm.
I am concerned of us going up higher, and with the inflation and everybody's struggling, food costs, my property tax is going up. Everybody's in the same situation as me, so I know I'm not a lone wolf on this, but yep. Everything's going up: food, property, gas, heat, electricity, everything. So are we really ready to take a chance this will not cost the citizens? At this point, I like the idea, don't get me wrong. I just don't know if right now is the right time.
Yeah, I'm to be on the side. What do you mean the citizens? Like, I mean, what do you think? I'm trying to get understanding what you're thinking. Like, do you feel like you think at some point in time, we're gonna put a subcharge on the utility bills to pay
Yeah,
for that?
that's what I'm afraid of, like when the total cost comes in and it's more than what the estimate is, because usually they are.
Yeah.
I hardly ever see it where it goes lower. What's gonna cover that part?
That,
I
we
mean-
won't, this isn't anything to do with that part on the city utility bills.
Yeah.
That applying for this grant is nothing that set in stone that we're gonna be moving forward with it. I mean, we don't even know if we're gonna get this grant. We're just gonna see if we
So
can
what
get,
you're saying is, if I understand what you're saying is, we're gonna apply for the grant and we don't have to jump on it, so that grant money can sit there for however long.
we got 18 months to, if we're awarded, we got 18 months to figure out how to come up with the money to go forward with it. If we don't have the money to go
Then
forward
the
with it,
grant goes back
then the grant goes back.
without any cost.
Without any, we can't, because for us, and Sophie can probably speak on this, to go towards that legally, we can't go and put a subcharge on our utility bills to move that forward. Because it's not directly impacting the whole community, correct, Sophie?
So I think there's some confusion on why we're only asking for 800,000 when the estimated project cost is 1.2 million. And that is because of the limitations of the funding. And I can talk about this a little bit later during my time versus public time, but, so the grant we're applying for is called the Community Development Block Grant. And Colton is only eligible at the present moment because several months ago, you all did an income survey. And that income survey, to even be eligible for CDBG funds, you have to meet 51% or more of the community has to be low to moderate income. So Colton wasn't classified as low to moderate income, but the city did an income survey, and it proved, yes, more than 51% is low to moderate income. So we applied in April of this year for CDBG funds and we weren't successful. So you only have a year to use those income surveys. And so there's only 2 deadlines for CDBG. One is April 1st and one is October 1st. So this is your last time to apply for up to $2 million in CDBG funds before your low income surveys expire, if you will. So to me, you have it, so you might as well apply for something because that's grant. The reason we're only asking for 2/3 is because CDBG requires a match, a local match. And you get the most points if you contribute 31% or more in local match. So that's why we only requested $800,000 because to be the most competitive, you need to put in your own match. And how that match would come into play here is there's another source of funding through the South Dakota Housing Development Authority called the Housing Infrastructure Financing Program. And it's a loan program and it's 2% interest, which is pretty much free. And it can be paid over 25 years, matures in 10 years. And so that's how we would come up with the remaining 1/3.
So that would be added to our water bill,
No,
or another bill for it added to.
No.
where that comes from, is it lot sales? I don't know, but that was the financing plan.
So to put it on this, but it's no different what we're doing, is we're asking this on the behalf of the development corporation. It's no different than us asking for the Game Fish and Parks grant on behalf of Colton Friends of Baseball. I don't know if you're familiar with that organization, that they're trying to do renovation up at the ball fields. That's going to be something that the development corp is going to have to figure out how to come up with a means of financing for that. City's not going to be funding that or paying the loan on that. Does that make sense?
So the city will not pay, the citizens will not pay the other $400,000?
No, the development corp is going to have to figure out the means of financing on that.
Well, the city is already giving them what, $25,000 a year?
$25,000 a year for the land.
On top of the, what, 125 they've already gotten?
No, I think we're only at,
Or is it 75?
I think we're at 75 right now, and that's as of 24's budget.
24th budget.
Yeah, and I don't know if they pulled from the 24 budget yet.
We only did 6,000 from this year's budget.
Okay. So we're at 56,000 currently.
So if there's, that was a 25-year loan, you said?
It could be amortized up to 25 years.
So technically, yes, we would be paying, we could be paying for it if we keep giving them.
If we keep giving,
Money.
yeah. I mean, the point, I mean, we want to try and get to the point where the development can get to a point where it's self-efficient. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, we're trying to get it kickstarted. I mean, we gotta, I don't know I mean, we gotta invest some way in our community. I mean, we can't go backwards. I mean, we can obviously spend everything we can to go, you know, but I think at some point in time, you have to throw some money at your community to expect a return. I mean, you don't run a business for 50 years putting nothing back into your business and expect it to maintain the exact same.
Well,
And that's what we've been doing for how many years in Colton? We've been just been sitting here, not investing back in our community, not investing back in infrastructure. And now it's falling on to us as us council and us citizens. And I'm not ready to pass the buck on to the next generation and say, you guys figure it out. No.
Well, I totally understand reinvesting in the community.
Yeah.
I get that, which
Yeah.
to me means fixing infrastructure, fixing roads.
Yep.
Such as that, not necessarily expanding.
No.
I mean, I have no problem with expansion.
No.
I just have a problem with my tax dollars paying for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the development, how I've known it to work since I've known is a development company comes in and says, hey, we want to purchase this land and develop it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean, I agree with you on that. But do you,
Because if cities.
and I'm just talking to, do you feel like, should the city somehow secure its way in growth? Now, let's say, do you think the city should own land prior to what it has? I'm just speaking, I'm just asking a general question.
I'm trying to figure out how you.
So like, do you think the city should technically own that land? Do you think that it's a good idea to move forward in the city purchase grant and maybe hope that's in a day that comes that we have? I just don't want us to be, we were landlocked for so many years and no farmer would loosen up to sell ground, and now we had one, so it was kind of a time to jump on it. And I'm afraid that we want to end up in that again.
Do we own that land now?
Well, we don't.
Because the way I understand it, we don't. We
The
wanna
development corp owns it. Mike Garrett's is the deed holder on it. Does that make sense?
The
So
development
he's-
company has a purchase agreement. They
Yeah.
don't have to pay for it.
No, we don't have it paid for yet.
So we're paying for it.
We're paying for it,
So it's like having a home loan.
pretty much. No, that's why I'm just asking John. I mean, I want feedback on it. I mean, I'm not trying to talk condescending or anything. I'm just
No,
asking.
I totally understand what you're saying. If cities had the ability to be real estate
Agents.
agents, they'd be doing it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean.
To put it in perspective, like this, I mean, and I'm just speaking on my end, on the way I feel. I feel like if we would have had this ground, say, prior to 2020, and we were somewhat ready, the way the growth and the expansion was happening, I feel those lots a lot of them lots would have been sold. So it's more or less, yes, and I get what you're saying with like, when does it stop or when do we keep spending? But at some point, you have to be community ready too. So when it does hit, we are ready for the growth. I mean, we want to control it in a way too. I mean, our residents want to control it. Do you want a developer to come in and put the cheapest infrastructure in and then pass it back onto the,
Well, if you got the codes, city codes and stuff, that wouldn't happen.
well, that's what we control the ground now. And so if we sell it off to a developer, I mean, that'd be the ideal thing. A developer came and said, hey, you guys have this land, we'd like to purchase it from
But what
you.
I'm saying though is if you had a developer do that, they wouldn't come in and just, they put the cheapest that they could in, but there would be stipulations that you guys could set city codes where they would have to follow when they put infrastructure in.
Not if it's, I don't know, how's that work, Winston? I mean,
The city does have subdivision regulations, albeit somewhat vague in nature, but there are regulations that the developer would need to follow. Again, they could be bolstered from what they are today.
Hasn't the room been, if they've been able to get one?
Well, yeah, I mean, so, I mean, technically, right now, the development has one lot sold for 96,000. And the ask on this community block grant was to hopefully lower the cost of lots to make it more appealing. Because I think, what are we at? 79,000, we'd have to sell every lot at to break even with what we got right now. So if we can get an extra 800,000, we can make these more appealing to sell it at cheaper cost to get it up and going. I mean, you gotta remember, the city's gonna make the money back on the property tax,
Tax
sales,
dollars.
the tax dollars, the sales tax of the property getting built. You know, that's where our reinvestment comes back in. And two, we talked with the development, I talked to the development on the city side saying, when lots sell, the city should get a portion of the lots of the sales back too. You know, we gotta find that happy harmonious, you know, where everything works, where development growth can keep moving forward without self-funding from the city. So, I don't know. I mean, that's just my take on it.
One of the other questions I have is, okay, so you get the grant, the 1.2,
Mhm.
what is that going to cover? What is it going to do?
It's gonna cover all the, well, it's gonna cover all the dirt work, the streets, water and sewer.
So it'll have curb and gutter, paved streets, water and sewer to the curb stops.
Mhm.
In just phase one.
Just in phase one.
For the 15?
Yeah.
15 lots.
15 lots.
What did it cost to do First Street?
First Street?
Mhm.
First and Main, you mean?
Or by Dollar General, Second Street, second?
Oh, just that sewer?
Mhm.
What were we at? Like nine?
I'd have to look back. Total project with Second Street and the storm sewer was 975.
Yeah.
900?
950,000, 975,000. So that'd be 6 blocks of storm sewer and 1 block of sanitary with a rebuilt street.
I just,
The extra on top of that was rip out, which was an exceeded cost on top of it though, right? But, I mean, if you're just going into the new division, that's just dirt work and then new stuff. Rip out is gonna cost us more, right?
There's removal.
So
Rehab
remove,
is more of a cost.
so the removal is gonna be an inflated cost on top of what we're talking about going forward.
they didn't put no curb and gutter in and anything like that, so that's.
The development corp has an engineer that's working with them, and they developed a cost based on what the market is right now.
So we're still on the upside. You're at 96,000 on the one lot,
96.
Yep. and you have 15 lots at projected need 78.
Projected, I mean, the development corp's soft talked, we haven't, that's the whole thing is like, we'd like to start pre-selling these lots, but we want to see what this grant does. If this grant does, we can make it more appealing. If we don't have this grant, then we got to start selling probably like $8,000 a lot. And I don't know if they'll sell at that, but they might. I mean, you look at Crooks, Baltic, everybody else, it's 75.
Is growing so big. I think.
Well, and we just had, we talked with and Weston was there too. We had a meeting with Meyer Henry, our attorney, and he brought up a valid point. Sioux Falls is at the 250,000 mark where businesses are coming. I mean, people are going to come and and Sioux Falls is getting really expensive to live in.
Yep.
And we're not that far.
And we're not that far.
We're
That
just-
goes back to my
yeah.
point of being community ready. We just want to be ready for when it does come.
We're just as far as Lennox is, so in Lennox group.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing as best as we can and mindful of our tax dollars too. I mean, I don't think we're
I
treating.
like to see us grow, so don't get me wrong. I'm just
No,
worried that we're gonna end up soaking the cost where people can't afford it.
Well, like legally, we can't put that on a utility bill anyways out there. You know what I'm saying?
hear you.
So,
I just don't know if I trust it, I'm being honest.
and that's fine, that's fine. Has anybody else got anything to add to it, or?
You mentioned that we're gonna get paid back on taxes.
Yeah.
Today I called the county because I was curious on roughly, I mean, this is just theoreticals here. If the average house in those 15 lots would be $500,000, which isn't hard to hit anymore.
Yeah.
That's $2,609 each, which breaks out to being like $39,300 some dollars is what the city will return every year on those lots.
Yeah.
And that's how their county figures out, and that's off of this tax year.
Yeah.
It could go up next year, it can go down next year, you know, however that levy is.
And if you want to know why the city hasn't really put too much money into the development corp this year, is because they cash rented out and they got 18,000 in cash rent on the ground that's being farmed. So that kind of puts money back on top of that this year too.
Yeah, we just gave them the 6,000.
So
So it's on the claims for this month.
This month. I was gonna say, I haven't seen it yet this
Yeah.
year, but
Yeah, because they just.
and the thing is now, I mean, just make we already know that land, what the purchase agreement is at now is now it's worth more than what there was a land auction a year ago. And I think it went for $500 more an acre than what in the purchase agreement.
Sold some ground for 16,000 acres.
Yeah.
To the north.
So, I mean, push comes to shove, auction off part of it and put a, you know, first right refusal on it that the city, if it gets sold, the city has a right to come back and purchase, but it's not gonna be at that same price again, so. It's gonna be double the price. So that's what I'm saying. It's a balanced action. We're trying our best to try and figure out how to secure our growth, how to be ready, how to be mindful of our tax dollars. I mean, it's a juggling act, and I know we're not gonna hit everybody in the same and everybody's gonna agree with us, but we're sitting here as a council and feeling that we're going in the right direction.
no, and Jamie, I'm probably in the same boat you are, you know, and like what Brandon is, I don't want to see our water bill go up anymore. I mean, it is as high as, I mean, we're gonna have to probably raise it a little bit because Minnehaha County is raising what we're buying, you know, but that's probably gonna be pennies on the dollar compared
It's not so
to,
much the water in
Water
sewer
Yeah.
itself.
It's the loans.
All the extras that keep getting added to it that
yeah.
pisses people off.
Yeah.
Because you can't
Yeah.
afford it anymore.
I'm in the same boat you are, Jamie. I don't like it either.
That goes back to what the mayor said earlier. Colton's had stayed this way for a long time.
Yep.
Right?
Now, infrastructure, roads, it all catches up. And I was actually in this, in this building as an employee when we had to start all that. And it costs money. I mean, unfortunately, the mayor's right. Colton stayed like this and we didn't do a lot for a lot of years. Well, now these water mains are bad. These sewer mains are bad. The
We're being
roads are starting
Forced
to
to
get
do
bad.
it now.
The city's forced to do it.
That's,
And we have to keep up with it, so it's costing us it's costing us now for, and again, I don't wanna pass the buck on to,
see,
but that's the problem that the city is faced with. It's the same problems that I was faced with when I was a city man years ago.
see, that goes, part of my concern though, is we have all this infrastructure already that needs repair and stuff. And I would almost rather see us have the money going to that. So if we can get an $800,000 grant for that,
And the city's been really good at
paying
bidding
for all
grants.
this extra land, should we be actually fixing all the stuff that's broken now?
The grant we're talking about, though, I don't think
It's
it's
nothing,
for
yeah.
repair.
No, that's just for the development.
And then, like I said, and I'm not holding our breath on that we're gonna even receive this grant. So, I mean, the chances of us actually getting this grant is probably slim to zero. So it's just one that's like Sophie said, we had one more chance to use it with this number, so let's just see what happens and we can figure it out from there, or at least if we get it, then we can go, okay, hey, we got it, now let's start crunching numbers and see what we can do with it. If we can't do anything with it, then unfortunately, we're gonna have to return it back to the state for South Dakota Housing, but I mean, I'd rather at least get it and return it and just say, well, so long, we didn't even try for it, you know? So, I mean, one thing to speak on too, like, we were just talking earlier today, he was up on Fifth Street and about the water seen up there.
Yeah, just, they're, like you're saying, on, as far as the infrastructure in town, and Jared knows, we worked here in the past, what the infrastructure looks like. Jared knows where the issues are in town. And that's what was built back in 2016 as a priority list of, Main and First Street are a priority, then Glen is a priority, updating the sewers, we're doing the lining project and rehabbing the manholes, that's a priority. Working on to those kind of later priorities with doing Second Street and then the storm sewer addition to try to provide some drainage by the ball fields. And there's priorities beyond that. Like, there's other infrastructure that hasn't been improved yet. And when you cut into some of the old water mains and watch everything get stirred up and know that that's the water supply, you kind of realize the importance of trying to keep up with it. And in the wintertime, when Jared has to try to hire somebody to come fix a leak and try to find water valves and try to scrape ice, break ice off of water valves and find them in the street, that's part of it too. The challenges of keeping up on the infrastructure if you haven't done a lot of improvements or continue to do improvements throughout the years.
No, and like I said, I welcome you guys all the time, open discussion with us. I mean,
I wish when they did the road in front of my house that when they, right there where the concrete plant is or not the plant, but their shed.
Yep.
And the big trucks come out there, when they turn off of 6th Street there, they're ripping that road apart. It's wavy right there and they're digging into it as they're turning. I wish when they did that, the city would have thought about it. Then when they did these projects that they would have put like concrete there for those big trucks to come through and turn there, because it won't be long and they're going to have to rip that apart and inject. And I'm sure Matt and I will end up paying for it because they're ripping it apart.
Yeah. You guys have anything else to add? You guys just listening? Brandon, you got anything else? Huh? Who's what?
Jamie Smith.
Yep, got that.
Ryan Don Poker.
Ben, this one.
Do you have
What's
anything?
up?
Cindy Gray.
You just here listening? Just listening?
I think it's great.
The only thing that concerns me is, okay, so you developed the 15 lots. There was probably 6 lots available by my house for 18 years that didn't get touched. There was a lot of growth happening in a lot of places in that time frame.
Yeah. Well, do you think those are heavily advertised for sale though? I mean, I'm just speaking.
Well,
I think German King
initially they were held back,
What are they?
and there was 2 spec houses built that had to get auctioned off.
What year was that?
I would have been,
When they first, I guess quite a while ago.
It's been a lot of years.
they auctioned those off in 2000 or 2001.
Yeah,
I think it was
that's,
2001. They got built in.
Colton wasn't on the map. 2001.
You just look at, I mean, even just look at Crooks. I mean, Crooks has changed a lot in the last 10 years.
Right.
Sioux Falls in general is in a different place than it was 10 years ago. I mean,
Right.
No,
That's all I'm saying. is
No, I'm not hear you.
It sits there,
It sits there. I
it
hear you.
sits there, it sits there, it sits there, and then and the development company doesn't have any money to make the payments.
Yeah.
Then what?
No, and then that's what we gotta think of too, you know what I mean?
So,
Sometimes we go, I throw candy out
Yeah.
the truck. Great.
yeah. Our budget's tight enough the way it is for the city. We
Yeah.
don't have the money to be buying that stuff.
Well, and I think, like I said, going forward with this, like say the first 15 lots, it'd be nice to know because I've had several people from like the northern side of Sioux Falls and Hartford and a couple of crooks ask when we're gonna open them lots for sale because they're interested in it, but I can't give them a price. You just don't. No, I can give them a price now without the grant, you know, and be like, this is what it is and see what happens. But I had the one reason the one sold this, he came up to me and said, I want to buy that lot. And
Just curious, is there a purchase agreement on that?
Yeah.
Okay. It is in writing and
Yeah.
it is.
yeah, we're getting that finalized, so, yep.
To me, nothing's sold until there's.
No,
money
and
exchanged.
yeah, and we haven't, I should say, we haven't got the check yet, but I mean, we're in the process. And he called me the other day, where are we at? Said, I'm ready to purchase that, so.
Those lots, are they individual lots for sale, or are they, any of them earmarked for MDU properties for like apartment complex?
So there is some, we don't have anything earmarked for multifamily. There's a couple that we have earmarked for like twin homes because it's going over by, we had to put a retention pond in there to collect water.
It's in a different phase.
It's in a different phase. So
Correct.
this first phase would all be single family homes.
So for right now, it's nothing that goes 4 lots across and three floors up.
No. Our goal is to, you know, like Matt said, hopefully hit that 400 to 500 homes.
I don't think it's hard to hit that anymore with the cost of things.
Well, I'm in
You know,
construction.
average. You know, I'm not saying every house because you'll have your 400s and you'll have your 700s.
Yeah.
You know,
Used to be 100,000, now about 250.
Well, I think the state now looks
If not
at it.
three.
I think the state looks at a first time homeowners at
My old
340.
piece of crap house, they said it was worth 140,000 or something like that. It's like, no way, that's double what the bank says.
Governor's home alone, is probably what, 250?
governor's home.
They're 250.
Wow,
so.
that used to be.
Oh, if they're already finished.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm thinking of the purchasing of governor's homes. I was like, no, I just looked at those.
It used to be like 35,000.
If anybody doesn't have anything else with everything, we'll move on. We all good? Okay. Now we'll move on to the public hearing. Award.
So with the community development block grant, a requirement of the grant is to hold a public hearing, which we did today, and we advertised it in the newspaper. And we also have to discuss community development and housing needs of low to moderate income persons. So in your council packet on page 3, staff and I have generated this list. This is for discussion purposes. You can certainly add or remove anything that you like, or you can say it's good. But some things that we put on here was obviously the Garrett's Addition development. We also put infill housing, other community development and housing needs. We did apply for the Redway Park Trail improvements, but unfortunately were denied. We also applied for the Redway Park Ballpark improvements, and we're still waiting to hear on that one. And we've also applied for the Redway Park Safe Room that it's been denied a couple times, but it's still like in the process. So anytime there's a new funding opportunity, they just push it forward to that funding opportunity. So those things are have been applied for. And then planned or potential activities to address housing and community needs. These are activities that are already taking place. So right now is the sanitary sewer project phases 4 and 5. And then the road reconstruction project, the First Street sidewalk project, and the First Street utilities project. 2, 3, and 4 are kind of one project, but those, that funding has all been secured.
All right, we'll move on then to resolution 10-2024.
So if the city's interested, this resolution is required for the application. Again, the application's due October 1st. And this resolution, number 1, authorizes Colton's application, and then number 2, it designates a project certifying officer and an environmental certifying officer, which essentially is the signature authority. So right now we have it as Trevor, but then if in Trevor's absence, the council president, I don't know who that is.
Julie, just kidding.
Okay, so Julie would be the runner-up if Trevor was gone to sign things.
Any other
And-
questions, concerns?
Well, my concern was the same as the rest of them. Where's the city getting the money? If it's being funded by the economic development group.
Yeah.
You know, that's what my concern was, because, you know, I've looked at the budget and I don't see.
Well, we
Yeah.
can't come up with 400,000 to pay.
Yeah.
So this isn't gonna come out of the cities. This is, like I said, it's in turn the same thing as we're doing for the Colton Friends of Baseball. We're asking for this grant since the Colton Friends of or Economic Development Group can't ask for this grant. The city can. The city's asking it pretty much in part of the Economic Development Group.
Is there other grants that the development group is looking into?
There's not really anything out there right now.
There's nothing really out there for them.
I mean, I heard all that South Dakota housing grants getting, some communities can fulfill it, so it's getting returned.
Yeah, so there was grant available and we did apply for it, but you can only apply for up to 1/3 of the total project cost of the South Dakota housing project, so you still have to come up with the other 2/3.
Right.
So this is really the way to fund the other 2/3.
Yeah. It's just a piece of the puzzle, and if the puzzle don't, we're missing a piece, the puzzle don't work, so.
And you could install the infrastructure, but it would require a loan, which would be a surcharge. Which is what
What's that?
Like, another funding mechanism would be to take on another loan to install that, but that's what everyone's complaining about.
Yes.
Rightfully complaining about.
No.
Well, I think we still need to at least apply for it, see if we get it, and then worry about if they can come up with the extra
Means of financing.
means of financing for the difference. I mean, if they can't, they can't, and
Then, yeah, I just,
we return it and we try again another
We'll have
time.
another evidence.
and I'm fine with that. You know, like I said, I was just looking at budget and it's like, I don't see it,
No,
you know,
there's-
and,
we're not gonna be
and
able to.
my big concern is I didn't want to put on the rest of the citizens.
Yeah.
That's what my big concern was.
So we need to
I
invest back.
just,
We need to,
I'm sorry to interrupt here. She just mentioned another way to pay for it, which we would end up paying for, because that's what we're complaining about. You said earlier that it would be illegal for you
I
guys.
don't think we could apply for that, so.
You could, but
There,
that's
so
not what's
it's-
happening here. That would be
This-
another.
No, I
funding
just- I-
This is where I don't trust.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I didn't think we could because it, when you apply for them loans and you get them, you have to be,
So there's
It has to
like a
impact
lot
the
of
whole
nuances
community.
here. So first of all, you couldn't, it's called a state revolving fund loan. You couldn't apply for a state revolving fund loan because it's future development and that's an ineligible activity with the state revolving loan fund. You could apply for sanitary sewer through DANR, through the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources, to install the sewer because there's no future growth sort of.
Stipulation on, they'll allow for that. They think that that's an eligible funding mechanism for sewer expansion.
It is extremely complicated. It's a lot of different funding mechanisms. We're not doing anything right now that would put a surcharge. So with the state revolving fund loan, you're required to institute a surcharge to cover the loan. In this case, you're applying for $800,000 in grant, which grants don't need to be paid back. There would be $400,000 of loan to cover if you apply for the South Dakota Housing Development Authority Housing Infrastructure Financing Funding. It's a 2% interest rate. And how the city or the economic development group decides to pay for that, that's up to you.
What I'm saying, Jamie, is the city is not gonna take another surcharge to pay for that. And like she said, I don't think we can pull out all that funding because it's not impacting the rest of the community.
2% on 400,000 is a lot of money.
So that's where I'm going. The city will not be taking out the loan for the 400.
Especially when somebody only makes like 40,000 a year.
Yeah.
And there's people that make less than that, and elderly that are fixed incomes that are less than that. And
Well,
so
what I'm just saying, there will not be a
just saying
surcharge for
only
the development.
2% is not
Well, that's,
really-
you guys have to fill out the things. We're not being nosy when we send out the income. They have to be returned.
No, the
And-
only people that ever saw them at all was myself.
Right, yeah.
And Sophie. They were.
I'm just
they
saying,
were
like,
shredded.
please fill
So
out the
they're
surveys so
completely-
we can get some of the
The council
funding.
doesn't see them, the mayor
Because
doesn't.
we
see
didn't
them,
have very, what
Nobody sees them.
percentage was very low, wasn't it?
Oh, we had a
Did
decent
we?
percentage back, yeah.
But you had to work to get them back.
I did. I had to go and find some people and have them fill it out, and that was fine because I've heard from a lot of the community members about income needs, and the responses were proven that there's at least 51% of the community that is low to moderate income. So we do hear you when you say that because the results were proven.
So, getting back to what we're doing here, this is only to see if we can get the grant. If we get the grant, then the development group's got to figure out the means of financing. The city's not financing this. This is not what it's about. This is merely just to see if we get the 800,000. If we get it, and then we'll go from there. If we don't get it, we move on. And
So the city can apply for this grant, the development group cannot. So we're applying for this grant basically on behalf of the development group to help get things started for them. If they can come up with that difference through their own means of financing, then they can proceed with getting the infrastructure, streets and everything done that they need. If they can't, then it just dies. Essentially, that money just goes back. So.
okay. Any more further discussion or concern? That
You
being,
wanna take a vote?
yeah, we can do it. That being said, do a roll call vote. Chaz Foster?
Can I have to opt out?
Oh, yeah, you're on the, yeah, okay. Chaz abstained. Julie Line,
I want to apply for it.
yay.
Yay.
Tyler Evans,
Yay.
Randy Budger,
Yay.
Joel Hosher,
Yay.
Matt Lutnick.
Yeah, as long as it's through the economic development group.
Well, you guys gotta remember, the city,
Yep.
you guys sitting at the table have to prove anything going forward, so.
I made notes.
So,
Wait, wait. Isn't he on the group?
okay, motion passes. Okay, moving on.
Oh, that's right, you're planning and zoning.
Sophie, you're up again with forestry grant.
Oh, okay. There is a grant available called the Community Forestry Grant. It's through the South Dakota Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources. It's an annual grant. And it's a 50-50 matching grant up to $5,000. So if the city requested $5,000, you would also need to put in $5,000. And it can be used for forestry type activities like pruning and maintenance, a tree inventory / assessment, and new tree planting. So Colton has been a recipient of these funds before. I think the That's 2 years.
Yeah, last year we got it when we cleaned up all the trees in the ball field. out there.
So this is due October 4th. If you're interested in applying for this funding, you need to make a motion and you would need to tell me where you want the trees to go. And Michaela and I would also need to get 2 quotes for the trees.
Where are we at on trimming in the ball field? Is there more to be done or the park?
Yeah, I mean, we could trim, a lot of trees that could still be trimmed up in the park itself.
$5,000 worth of thing.
How many trees did we lose in that derecho that you'd like to get replanted up there? I know there was a good handful.
We lost a handful, but we planted 4, lost 1, so we got 3 new trees that are cool. But there's some areas up there that we could put some
We
trees
got remember
in
too, we
that
got those
we could fill
ashes,
in.
so we got to,
Right.
nice to get some, at least ones in there to slowly replace.
Are they infested? Not now. Okay.
Is
It's
this
a matter
only
of
for the
time.
parks?
It has to be on public land, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be in boulevards
Boulevards and
and
stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yes, that's public, right?
we got trees and boulevards that need to come down that are getting pretty raggedy.
Pushing
I
curbs
wouldn't
off.
say that.
Well, there is one, and there's a couple that are pushing curbs out, but then we gotta replace the curb though too, so we gotta keep that in mind.
That's over by our
By
place.
your place, there's a couple trees that are pushing on. the
Those
curb.
2 real big ones in that empty lot that we got, they're pushing the curb out and starting to heave that sidewalk, and I get a little worried about them. I'm not saying it's anything like this, I'm not asking for nothing, but
You
we
need
keep them in
specific.
mind if you start doing stuff.
Right.
I might have to check about the boulevard.
Block one, this avenue, 300 yards to the east or anything crazy like that, or can we just look like a general, we're gonna put 4 trees in the park, miscellaneous locations, and then
That should be
a
right.
few boulevards throughout town.
Years ago in the
I
storm,
might need to check on the
but
boulevard.
now that last branch is growing
Because
on this
typically
side,
that's the
it's starting to grow on my side.
Yeah, I wasn't,
Falls, we have homeowners insurance bill.
Because it's an ash tree, that tree actually just grows with the ash forest.
If it falls on
And
the land, it's, if it falls across the street, it's
Since
city's
I can
property.
afford it.
I think it's-
And how do you pick like whose tree you're gonna trim
like
versus?
sidewalk,
It seems like.
Right. Well, I know there's a few that the derecho took down that messed up the boulevard and still kind of messed up.
Well, so can you check on that, just to make sure if that's, because if it's the
Yeah.
ones that are affecting the sidewalk and the curb,
Mhm.
I don't think we just like, oh yeah, we don't like that tree. I think, like if one's like actually lifting up the sidewalk and pushing, I know there's one on Park that's doing that right now.
What about these
Safety
ash
concern.
trees that
More or less.
emerald ash?
Well, that's what we're talking about, like I'd like to get some new replacements, you know.
I like to get rid of mine.
Go
Well,
on, you're looking at me with your,
I mean,
like.
I can't even say anything else. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I
they
don't.
probably will, because all the
I've
other
always
trees they
typically
have
have.
How I typically see it is like in a park.
It's a right of way. It's an easement
But
in a
would,
sense.
going back, would you guys like to, Sophie, to move forward with this grant?
I mean, I think if we can use it to benefit the city, yeah, I mean, I think so.
It's 5,000 max.
Well, just put it this way, we used it up the ball field and it cost us just a little over, I think it was about 11,000 to tear out all them trees where Pete could drive the truck down there and spray mosquitoes and get them out of the trees down there. So he could never drive down there.
This is a 50% match, correct?
Yes.
So if you request 5,000, then you have to put 5,000.
But we should be able to take that out like a park fund or,
But like I
you
said,
know, whatever.
What we spent down there,
Yeah,
it only cost us, well,
$5,000.
well, a little over 5, it was about 6. So
Yeah.
we had to spend, but it would have cost us 11 if we really wanted to do
How
it.
many
So,
trees was there?
well, he took out a bunch.
It was a
Yeah.
lot.
Like a 20-foot slot, about 300 feet long.
And $5,000 for all that.
Yeah, well,
Like 11,000, you paid 6,000 for it.
So it was a good deal for us on that way, because then he could drive down there with a truck to spray mosquitoes.
Yeah, and there's,
Well, then we had a couple that were being held together.
Wow.
Wow. Chain.
Yeah, well, then we had some that were about ready to fall in the ball field.
I mean, there's some right there by the pool that are pretty much dead too now, aren't there? Or did those come down already?
Yeah, we got the
dead ones down.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, cause I thought when I came up there and cut that one down by the memorial, a couple of those looked pretty,
yeah, there's maybe
Pretty
one
rough.
or two in there that could probably come out.
Yeah.
Right to the north of the pool.
I'll make a motion to
Motion from
apply
Tyler.
for 5,000 max.
A motion from Tyler. Can I get a second?
I'll second it, but I do like the deal seating check into boulevards.
Second from Chaz. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Moving on. 5B Banner Associates Weston, so Colton Phase 4 and 5 sanitary improvements, pay request number 2.
So this is the pay request from Alliance Construction, pay request number 2 for phase 4 and 5 project. This is for work completed between July 31st to the end of August 30th. Update on the project. On Second Street, the sanitary sewer's been installed. They did work on the subgrade. They poured out the roadway, prepped the subgrade, performed the cement treatment on the subgrade. They did have a few spots they had to amend with some larger oversized rock. But they have placed base course, so if you've been by there, base course is on the roadway. It's been a little bit slower progress on Second Street than I think what they'd like to have had. One item that was found, and you'll see them digging here this week yet, they did find a bad joint on the sewer that they installed. So they'll be going down and correcting that. Likely gonna do it tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. But their plan, as I talked to the project manager this afternoon, they're hopefully gonna have curb and gutter next week. They'll continue with the flat work, so that'd be the driveway approaches, sidewalk ramps. They'll work on that next week and try to get their concrete sub in and out, and then they'll continue with the asphalt. They'll have to do some fine grading on the gravel before they do the asphalt, of course. But hoping in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, they're hoping to have things, I guess, to a status to where they've got pavement down.
when they rip up to fix that joint, are they gonna do concrete stabilization again?
No, that's not their plan. Just because of logistics of trying to do a small area with the machinery that they use for the cement treatment. So in areas that they had issues with during the initial application, they used that oversized rock. So it's a thickened section to where instead of just the base course gravel on top, they put a sub base is what it's called. It's got much larger rock. In this case, it's crushed concrete. They'll put 12 inches of that and potentially up to 18, depending on what the conditions are. And then they'll cover that with their 8-inch base course. Although we'd like to have the cement treatment, it's just not.
They're gonna do another density on that portion to make sure they get their compaction.
So I think that's a good idea in the trench. I haven't talked to them about that. I think the trench would be the most important part. We did talk a little bit about it. It's probably wet. That trench is wet, I'm sure, because there's been quite a bit of rain since they've done the sanitary sewer work. So yeah, I think that's a good idea and warranted. So yeah, I can follow up with them and make
Yeah,
sure. they get addressed.
I just don't want in 5 years, all of a sudden, right where they dug to have a little sinkhole and then we're wasting money fixing that.
Yeah, I think that makes good sense. Jared, you need to add on Second Street that was.
No, I pretty much got it right there. I think we'll do another roll test on it too to make sure that it bridges and we don't have a soft spot in there. So.
Have they been doing densities for the trench or?
Yep, they have. So they haven't had any issues. They did replace some of the trench material. And that's been the case and kind of experience on the past projects. Once we get down below the water main depth, kind of that 8 feet, we run into some pretty poor material. And then, more commonly replacing that than trying to salvage it. A little bit of an update on Fifth Street. So they've completed the storm sewer installation from Sherman going east to Iowa. They're yet to complete the boxes yet, so they need to bring their concrete crew in. They've got a couple floors done for the storm sewer inlets that they're installing. They still have to put walls in. I would say they're probably a couple weeks out. When I talked to the project manager, he was thinking, with the number of inlets that are on Fifth Street, that, their concrete sub hasn't been able to commit as much time as they'd like to getting the boxes completed. So once they do get the concrete work done or get the structures built, then they'll be able to continue with the roadway work. They've turned the corner on Iowa, so from Iowa and Fifth, they're going south to Sixth Street, and then they'll continue on Sixth Street to that sag by the ball fields. But they'll hopefully have the storm sewer in within the next couple weeks. I will say there's been some challenges, and Jared will attest to this, with avoiding the sanitary sewer all throughout Fifth Street and even turning that corner going south on Iowa. We've had a few conflicts with sewer services, and that's going to incur some extra costs as well. On the front end, we anticipated some of that, and we do have some bid items to cover that additional work. We knew that there'd be conflicts. We're trying to thread a 24-inch needle through, an established corridor, and where they did run into sanitary sewer services, they've had to go back and either lower or raise them to adjust them over top of the new storm sewer pipe. Again, there's still budget to withstand some of those additional costs. Like I said, we built in some of that. Maybe not all of it. There's going to be a change order for some additional costs. I don't have a value on that yet, but we'll determine that as the work continues. Jared, some things to add with?
We've been trying to keep the road open as much as possible. It's kind of like a one-lane deal, but people have been able to travel up and down it and keep traffic into their driveways on Fifth Street. So that's been working out pretty good.
Yeah. I prefer you close it down more.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's just people. I feel there's more traffic now with people coming to look,
I'm sure they are.
and then it's just a dust bowl after
We're
that.
trying to accommodate for all
I know
who
you are.
live along there. We don't want them to have to park out there. It's kind of like what you
Yeah.
Some of us have.
There's a few times I may have moved the signs over to block traffic.
You're the one, huh?
Well, he'll be gone here.
Thanks.
Now we got it
Wow.
on YouTube, so he will be gone.
All right, we need a motion for this.
Yeah, motion to.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion from Julie, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Matt Wapnick. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, hold on. Maybe,
If you want to get this right.
do you want to do anything on the fire department or anything?
Yep. Give you a short report. This month we had 3 fire calls, 2 fire trainings, 3 EMS calls, 1 EMS training with our paid trainer, and then we had the supply EMS support at the football game. We got that for this month. I got 3 more games for sure. Got homecoming this week, going to shoot fireworks.
What they should
Fire
fire
and fire and EMS this week at football.
Great.
So I got any questions?
No.
Back next month, we'll have a final budget ready.
Um,
I'll get that to Caleb.
Actually, speaking on that, remember we were talking about the summer, getting, up in the ball fields, having a rain garden camping. Yeah.
Oh, AED. Oh,
Yeah.
No, public access.
Were you gonna talk? there's a
I've
guy-
talked to our trainer guy and he hasn't gotten back to me, so I'll reach out to him again. Cost wise.
Well, you might have some that are replacements or.
Yep.
Or change, but if we can,
I'll,
I just think we should maybe look at having one either up at the pool or the ball field, because if someone gets hurt, up there we have.
I reached out to him and yeah, I haven't heard back from him. That's been a few months ago.
Okay.
I'll give him a shout.
Okay. Because what do those run typically?
1,800, 12, yeah.
1,500. Okay.
I don't remember how often those have to be. I know the pads have expiration dates.
Yeah, it's every so many years. They
Yeah.
switch the batteries out and the pads at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if a kid got hit by a baseball in the chest or they had anything like that,
And one of the old guys.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on then, sheriff's report. There. Any questions or concerns on the sheriff's report? Not, we'll move on to the discussion of dates for October and November council meeting. What do we want to change that date to? Do we want to go to the Tuesdays following the Monday? Or do we go to the 30th?
Yeah, I guess I'm fine with going to Tuesday. I don't know what everybody else's schedules are. It don't matter to me.
No Tuesday, no volleyball?
Tuesdays and Thursdays are out.
How's everybody look for Wednesday, that Wednesday?
We can do Wednesday.
There starts on Wednesday, but
Do we want to go to the following Monday then?
I'll be in Vegas, but you can have the meeting.
You're always in Vegas. I don't care. I mean, what do you guys consensus?
I'll move it to the Monday before.
Yeah, we can do the Monday before, first Monday. Or how's that work? Is that, where does that land out?
7th and the
The
4th.
7th,
7th?
7th of October and the 4th of November.
They got fire meeting,
the first,
Training that night, so
just training.
you don't have to staff it for that.
you sure?
Okay, should we just do the first Monday then?
Yeah, I'm fine. As long as everybody else is fine, I'm good.
Okay.
I can make something work.
So
October
it'll be-
7th and November 4th.
Okay,
October 7th.
7th and November 4th, same time, 6:30.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. South Dakota Municipality Annual Conference, Tuesday through Friday, October 8th through 11th, Graham, Dakota. So you want to attend any of those?
Because I know some of you guys wanted to last year when it was
They
in
do
Rapid.
some, there's, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Rapid.
Well, there's some it's like council member training, you know.
Yeah, I won't be able to this year.
If anybody wants to go to them, just let us know. When is the deadline to register?
Do you get a schedule with that, Michaela?
There is,
It's not gonna
they have a whole website for it. So
Okay,
if you just like look up South Dakota Municipal League Annual Conference, it brings you to a whole site and it's not in any kind of a printable form at all.
okay.
It's very like big and long. Otherwise I would have done that already.
But I mean, it's something where you could pick and choose. You wouldn't have to
You
commit
can
to
pick
the,
and choose. You can even pick just to go like 1 day or 2 days. They have the prices broken out by that,
okay.
by how many days you
I'll go
want
on
to
their
go.
website and check it
There's
out.
a break too, if you register early, don't you get a better price or something?
Yes,
Compared to if
you
wait till
do.
the last second.
Yep, September 15th. Like you said, next week.
Oh,
Hold it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look into it. I know I got some training at work I have to be at, so I just don't remember which day within that week.
Like I said, it's just a bunch of workshops and stuff like that,
Mhm.
training to be. council members and stuff. Okay, well, reach out to Michaela if you guys want to
okay.
get involved. Move on to Great Plains roof quote for City Hall.
So that just added kind of to touch on what we talked about last month. I did reach out to that Larry and he quoted, he said that this quote is still good. But because of the time, we were just a little worried that maybe he wanted to change it or whatever, but he said he was good with it. So, just a matter of if you guys want to do the work or.
And did say it was at a very,
price.
very good price.
It was very, he quoted us really, really good.
And I want to say I did do some checking in that 100,000 that's in Second Penny. We are able to use it for the like for the building improvements.
And I want to say Toby said there was money set aside in like the government building improvements or something. he made a note with an asterisk about which fund he thought would be the best to use it. Or maybe this is it right here, like you said, could make repairs with second penny.
Yeah, cause see, I think we did set money aside a few years for it. I don't think we used it. Cause in the 23 budget, we set aside 25,000 and I don't think we ever used that money.
Because I think at the time we talked about taking the sewer panels, all that stuff off, but then we had to put them on an auction or something. Well, we
They're
surplus
still
them.
gonna come off before we do the work.
But didn't you say we might need to check with Mr. Buster?
Yeah, I just need him to unhook them, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and we'll probably, well, they're already surplus. We just need to either have two citizens come and put a valuation on them for sale, or we put them on an auction site.
The only thing I would add to that is that it says here, if you want a new gutters, it'd be $947. I think if we're gonna put the new roof on, we wanna put a new gutter also.
But this price never included repair work, right? Like rotten.
No.
Okay.
No, I think they're gonna leave the original roof up there.
We're just gonna roof over this.
Going over the top.
Yeah, that's what it said in the,
But didn't you have a question about the warranty?
yeah, I mean, I see why they're doing it because it isn't extremely, I mean, it is reasonable. But it just seems so tacky to be applying another $1,200 to get 10 more years.
Mhm.
I just wish they would have just quoted it. But I mean, because for 5 years, you get it at this price plus gutters, but then, you know,
It's like, that's up, I don't know if you guys wanna do the extra 15-year warranty or just go with the standard 5-year.
yeah, that thing's a nightmare. I don't know. I mean, that's my opinion. It's,
That's what I was asking about the warranties. I can cover if we have soft spots up there.
oh,
If it
no.
ruins this,
It's just gonna go down to your substrate. It's gonna say whatever your substrate's at. You know what I mean? Your pretty much your foundation, what that rubber's going. So like Chad's saying, if we have soft
Yeah.
spots in it, they're just gonna find, I mean, they're gonna find, I just say not waste the $1,200.
Okay, don't.
Because they're
Okay.
gonna find any way to
To get out of it.
get out of
Okay,
it.
okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I was just, I know that there's,
It doesn't take much
need
for
a
them
lot
to
of work.
find any little flaw to have it come.
which if you take those solar panels off, you fall through, you let us know.
And
Well, the problem is when you walk up there, the membrane that's up there now, you crack it every time you walk on it. Like, so the more you walk up there, the worse it gets.
Mm.
That stuff's so brittle.
And hence why we have.
Right.
yeah,
So are we gonna look to approve that or maybe at the next meeting or what?
Because we can get this work done this year yet.
He said he'd like to do it not in the winter time.
sooner than later.
So I think we should need to approve it
The
tonight.
colder it gets.
Well, that's
the
what I was
more
trying to figure
charge.
Oh,
out.
yeah,
is-
Yeah.
because we've got the money in second penny
Mhm.
already available that we have not spent yet.
Do we need to reallocate that money? Whatever that process is. Well, just,
Available.
I thought I talked to you about that after the last meeting and you said there's a process because we would go negative knowingly in our building repairs.
Well, technically,
Yeah,
to
but
do,
we'll fix that when we fix everything else.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, do we need to,
to just do it correctly, we have to reallocate it. We have to put a reading out there
yeah,
and then publish it in the paper that we're reallocating
From second penny.
pretty much $15,000 out of second penny and we're moving it into this. So I agree with you. We should probably, they can approve this, but then we should, our next council meeting, we'll have to reallocate the money.
Well, I thought we were gonna do that when we have all the reallocations done. Not just the one.
I don't know, what are we gonna reallocate?
Or is this the only one they?
This is the only one that I think we need to reallocate
Is it?
funds for.
that's,
I don't think there's any others.
No, I don't think there's
Okay.
any.
Not unless there's another account that's in the red,
No.
you know. And if there's another account in the red, we're gonna have to figure out where to bring money in from somewhere.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think to approve this, we have to reallocate that money. You know, we can approve it now so he can get the membrane on order and stuff like that, but I think next month we have to, or we should.
And that gives you time to put it in the paper. publish it in the paper.
So, okay.
So
Schedule
then,
them
is
for-
that gonna put us in October for the repair or November
Well,
for the repair? Do you think?
We could
Well,
schedule
if
it
you guys
for,
okay it, we'll just schedule it for his, whatever works.
His convenience.
Okay.
But the
Well,
paper,
And then
As long
we'll
as you
have
guys-
time, we'll have what, 3 weeks to reallocate, to advertise it and the difference be
Well, I
allocated.
think that can happen afterwards, right? I mean, the work can be done before the money gets moved from one account to another account, more or less.
I would assume since we're not writing a check until the work is completed.
No.
So, you know, prior to a check being written, I would assume you'd have to reallocate that money. Is what I would assume, but I don't know the whole legal process
Well,
on
yeah,
that.
I mean, I wouldn't. Anytime we've ever had to reallocate, and this has been years back when I sat on council, it was before the check was written.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so with that being said, do we want to add another 1,000 to this? For like Buster to come in, remove electrical,
probably,
you know what that's gonna
well,
cost?
we can do that on the
That
reallocation.
shouldn't be- that shouldn't- I mean, if you can just tell me the circuit's dead, I can do the work. I just don't wanna touch something and get killed.
I could bring my meter down, I could check it.
I just don't know. I know I'm good with like the house, I just don't know anything about solar stuff. So.
It's only 12 volt.
Yeah, so.
Oh, no. Oh,
Depends
no.
on which side you're on.
Yeah,
just go to the right side.
that solar up there is probably ran in yeah, in whatever. It's probably coming in at 480 volts.
Yeah, it kept blowing. Didn't you say it kept blowing the?
Yeah, the reason why we're not using it is because the main breaker in the panel is 200 amp service and it blows it. Like we'd be sitting here right now and everything in this room would go dark in the whole city hall,
You got a short, huh?
big time. So,
Mm.
we just finally quit using it because we didn't want to burn the place down. Whenever they put that in, whoever did it did not know what they were doing. That's what it comes down to. That's another conversation.
Yeah. Okay, that being said, we can get a motion to approve the gutters, or not gutters, the roofing.
I'll approve the roofing with gutters.
I'll second.
Okay. Now, with the motion, Travis with the second, all those in favor say aye.
Right.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Okay, going back to heat, this is just pretty much, we were just kind of being curious, just looking out there, see what it is, and looking into the pool. Obviously, we would have to probably go back to Game Fish and Parks and apply for that grant. But we've just been curious and looking at what it would cost to reline that pool. Because, what's that been, probably 8 years ago?
Yeah,
That we did the epoxy, and it was supposed to last 7,
Yeah, it's
and we,
right at that.
we only made it probably 4. And now we're kind of dealing with it. I think at that time it was 50,000 for the epoxy.
And we had to paint it.
But Jared and Julie were good enough to dig into a couple of companies and kind of get some estimates on what it would actually cost. So there's 2 different.
Julie and I sat down and had a conference meeting with this, Garrett was a sales guy from this, how do you say
Natari,
that?
yep.
Natari
Natari.
Natari
Mhm.
company. They've got a pool liner, it's a 10-year pool liner. And the material's right there.
Yep,
You
Yep.
wanna look
You
at it.
guys
That's
wanna-
kind of- That's
yeah,
the liner
yeah.
itself.
Pass it around.
So basically, he said they come in and put a liner in and I don't know, was it 85,000 for the liner?
Yeah.
85,000.
10-year liner. Says if you have a rip or a hole in it, you can patch it. Just looking at my notes here. The only thing he did say, like, if there's any major structural cracks, which I don't know if we have structural cracking in our pool, we have a lot of cracking. I don't know if we call it like a structural crack. We'd have to hire a separate company to repair that. They wouldn't be able to touch that.
What about that crack that's on the deep end that kind of runs all the way across? Is that a structural crack?
Oh,
Where
you're
that
talking-
water seeps in there?
The one
And
in
as
the
you go down the
bottom, or-
slant, no, as you go down the slant,
Going
there's
down the
that
ramp,
big
and it's
crack.
going the same length, or not the length of the pool, it's going across the pool.
Yeah,
That's a control joint, a flex joint.
but you can see the water seeps in there.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, that's not a structural, okay.
It's actually there so if the pool expands or contracts, it
Okay.
can move.
I always
That's where the
wondered
give
about that
is.
crack. Okay.
Going back to, I think the first one is out, 260,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
that one was,
That'd be the better, if you're gonna really, honestly, if you wanted to redo your pool, that's the better option. Because they'll actually go in and cut all the cracks out and put fiber in them and fix the cracks. And then they'll spray on that poly like spray on deal that's rated for 25 years or something. You don't ever have to paint your pool again. That's just the color of it. And 75,000 of that was new tile around the outside and then the brick that's coming apart around the top of the pool. That was gonna all come up and get replaced with a concrete curb all the way around. But that's the better option. It's just we don't have $260,000 to put into the pool, so it's not an option really.
I see they got an option on here for the water line tile. Cause weren't you saying last month that when the pumps are running, we're
Well, the
losing?
water line tile, it goes around the outside of the pool and like catches the water.
Oh.
on the concrete.
Okay, I thought it was like our pump lines.
And he did recommend if you're gonna spend 260,000 on that pool, that you get your plumbing pressure tested, vacuum tested to see where the leak. Try and figure out if you can find the leak before you spend that much money on it. I didn't even get into that. He said that'd be a different company. But when I seen the price tag of this, I probably don't need to investigate it any further than that. But
Well, I think regardless of any direction that we go, I know when we met with Randy Kittle, the director of Game Fish and Parks, and he comes out here and looks at some of these projects that we want to do. The one time we walked by the pool and he's like, "How's your pool?" I said, "Well, it needs some updating." He's like, "So it'd be nice to probably put a liner in or something at one point in time." And he said, "Well, put it in for a grant. We do grants for pool liners." So
And that was Game Fish and Park. You said.
that was Game Fish and Parks. The only problem is you can't buy anything prior. The funds have to be used after awarded. You can't use the funds prior to it being awarded. So it's not like we can go and buy this and then apply for it and hope for it. They won't do it. So it's
We probably have to apply for the grant with an attached quote of what we want to do.
Yeah.
Correct?
yes.
the
So
only thing that scares me with the liner is with all the cracking in the pool and is that gonna be working on that liner all the time and cause it to fail?
I think you would have to go in there, they'd grind it out, polyfill them, and then throw the liner in instead of doing the inner glass liner with the 25-year. You'd end up just going with that liner. I mean, you're still gonna want to fix those cracks because, like you said, as that pool moves, and with all that weight of that water pushing on those cracks and the liner to the cracks, yeah, I think you would have issues. That's my opinion. You know, and maybe they can come in, joint seal them, fiberglass over top of them, and make it somewhat smooth. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think this company will do any of that. I think they'll
Yeah.
put the liner in. That's it.
You got to sub out the rest.
well, maybe
I can get a hold of that, the people that did the crack filling and all that the first time. And he still calls me every year. So I can have him come up and get a quote on what it would cost to fix the cracks and stuff like that. To get it prepared for a liner.
I was gonna say, because once we get the cracks fixed and then you get the liner on there, those crack repairs should hold a lot longer.
Right. I just
essentially,
don't want the sharp crack to be working on that liner and also we got a big hole on our liner.
Correct.
Yeah.
Down the road. And just wasting all our money.
What kind of warranty is on that liner?
10 years.
10
Actually,
years.
he said he would give us a 15. Yeah.
15 years.
So we'll have to get that in writing on our
Yes.
paperwork, but
Just keep in mind too, that grant with Game Fish and Parks, that is a 50% match too, so it's not like an 80-20 or anything like that, so we have to have half the funds. So,
we have roughly 35,000.
that's just for the liner.
just for the liner, no prior work or anything.
Cause what did it, Pete, do you remember what it cost last time to repair all the cracks?
Well, we were close to 50.
Close to 50.
That's how
So
we painted the pool.
we're still gonna be,
With the liner, we don't have to paint the pool. With liner.
oh, that was with painting the pool. Okay, so shoot, that's probably that's 20 in itself right there.
30 sounds familiar, but don't quote.
Okay.
We'd have to go back.
I can go back and look, but it's in my old email,
Well,
the one that they took.
Like I
away
said,
from
that's
me.
8 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say,
eight,
the
7 years
prices have
ago,
changed anyway, so.
I
Yeah.
bet we'd still be on the hook for
Probably
50,
the same.
60.
But I can reach out to that guy and have him come out, and give us a quote on what it would cost to fix the
Yeah,
cracks or whatever, or make it so a liner will work in our pool.
Right,
The
like I
one
said,
pool company that actually
yeah, we've
keeps after you.
been working on this for like a couple of years. We talked to a
Yeah.
couple other companies
Yeah.
and they never responded back,
In
so.
North Dakota and what, Wisconsin.
Yeah, these guys are out of Indianapolis.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys, for
Yeah, great work.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Well, and that's kind of where I said it's a Band-Aid. Or do you,
15-year Band-Aid.
yeah, 15-year Band-Aid, but, or do you start, cause we're getting that pool CD.
It's
Do
a
us,
minimum 15-year ban. It could
Yeah,
very well last.
could be longer. Does the
Twice
city go
longer.
in and just start adding to that CD every year? An X amount of dollars when we do our budget
To build up that fund.
to build up that fund, so hopefully
Go to the-
maybe if this 15-year Band-Aid starts failing, hopefully in 15 years,
Do it on repeat. Replace the Band-Aid.
Well, there's a.
Replace the pool.
Current crack that's in it that now punctures the bottom of it, covered
Well,
under that.
I think a lot
That's
of it.
what,
Your warranty.
that's what we would,
That's not normal wear and tear. It's not
No.
They aren't,
structural that
and
was
he's
there
not
prior.
gonna just throw it on there. I
No,
mean, from the
No,
discussion.
like what we're dealing with now is like the one concern is if you're up at the pool and you look, that concrete's cracking and then that epoxy flaking off and it's almost coming to a point where it's starting to be sharp.
Yeah.
And I don't want kid to
Mm,
put their foot or
Step on it.
Yeah,
or anything on that, so.
I'm just trying to think long-term here, plan for
I'm just
15, 20
showing-
years
this
down
is
the
a
road.
bit- This is a picture of the bottom of the pool. You can see that main crack. How it's, the epoxy's like popping off. That sitting on a liner, to me would not be
And that-
a good thing.
I'm
That-
sure they'll prep the surface before they put the liner in.
I don't, did you,
That
Oh, yeah.
almost looks like they came in there
They
and
had
repaired
some-
that section.
at some point it was, yeah.
They cut that out and had to repair those drains, and that's the section
Yeah.
that's,
At some point, someone did, yes.
Can you change the language?
it's a picture.
No, change the language on his phone.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
He's bilingual.
You can have my phone, I don't need it anymore.
Let him call them.
Okay. And it's gonna pass around. So once we receive that check for that, city good with putting in into a CD. Do you guys want a CD in front of you to approve the amount, or
What are we talking about?
we're moving on to 7B?
the pool.
Anybody else
budget.
want to see?
Oh, yeah. We did talk about that last month. I think that was general consensus where we were just
Do we
gonna put
want,
it
you
into
want me to
CD,
get,
correct?
since we do bank with two banks, do you want me to ask Reliant Bank and Core Trust?
I think we
Yeah.
need to get the best.
The best rate.
And we approve it on that?
Yeah.
But we're in the consensus, we were gonna put it into a CD.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, and I'll just pick the best rate and put it in.
Well, we gotta decide on the terms, years, like how long we want it
Yeah.
running.
I think, well, I'm sure it's gonna be different interest rates
I know, so
on
it's like the
different blanks, so.
you lock in now for
The longer you can keep it in there,
the longer you can
Right.
keep it in there. Then being mindful too, do we ever want to potentially use these funds to pay for this liner? Like if we come down that road, do we want to keep that in mind, or do we want just to let it sit in a CD? City takes the first round, and hopefully down the line, 15 years, that CD takes the next round.
Pete, can we get 5 years
currently,
without having to do much?
I think so.
So that's what I'm saying. Do we want to use?
Unless we have some catastrophic.
Right,
event
something
happen or
major, but
something.
the way the pool sits today, it could operate for another 5 seasons without us having to do any major repairs.
But what I'm saying is, do we want the city to make the pay for the liner, or do we want to what they raised on funds, the pool committee?
I don't
Do we
know.
want to use their funds to pay for the liner, or do we want?
Do we have to discuss that today?
Well, no. Well, it's going to come down to asking for CDs.
Yeah, the length
Yeah.
of CD term.
Well, that's why I just asked him was,
Oh,
do we need to use that money in 5 years? So we need to keep that in consider. If we put it in for a 10-year CD, it's there for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Put it in for 5.
I'd be interested in what interest rate you get for that longer take period of time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot, the ones I've been looking at, the longer you go, the lower the interest rate.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
We do.
Yeah.
We put it in for 5.
Well, if you
and
put
then
it in
if-
for 8 months or 11 months, you get a
That
lot
too.
better,
Right.
interest
Can you
rate.
do like 11 months and then just keep rolling it over?
Yeah, well, you just check the interest rates, but yeah, you can roll it over every, 6 to 11 months, whatever you decide on. But
And then
those are your best those are your best
Yeah.
interest rates right now.
and then if you wanted to add at that time, you could.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
You know,
I have heard advertised a lot of that is not for public funds. Those rates.
yeah, the bank down here.
I don't know if Reliant Bank does that or not. but-
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
saying that like that
Oh.
4.9 and stuff like that.
That's
The
so small.
5.5 or whatever for 8 months is great, but not for public funds, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to sit down with our bankers and ask them which
Yeah.
one, and just say, hey, you give us a quote for, so we're looking at a year.
Roughly.
a year.
I mean, well, whatever the best rate is.
Okay, so how about this? I'll ask for a 1 year and a 5 year. You want to go that
That'd be fine.
on both banks and what's the best rate? So, okay. Moving on. 7C Dakota Mainstream Water Project membership. So we sat in on this call, so this is kind of another thing of the Lewis and Clark water project, and as everybody knows, the next challenge is gonna be water shortage. This is asking the city to become a member of this Dakota Mainstream STEM. It's kind of pretty much getting our seat at the table at the beginning. We can pretty much just, this won't impact any of us right now. This is actually for the next generation. This project won't be even coming down the line for another 15, 25 years.
25 years.
So this isn't gonna do anything to us currently. It's just down the road. What was it, like 34, 3,800 a year to become a member?
32.
It was a little under $3,200 for membership. It's 3,000 baseline and then 25 cents per resident.
But this is pretty much getting ourselves at the table to allocate water. Lewis and Clark's already tapped out.
Mhm.
The big thing that I know we've talked with Minnehaha County is in the next 5 years, we don't even know.
The biggest thing right now is with water, all the water rates in Minnehaha County are gone. They're spoken for. There is no more water. So like if you go to build a big business and you need 1 million gallons of water a day, you can't get it. So not in Minnehaha County.
Yeah, and this is coming from the Missouri
This
River.
is coming from rural water. this is what they're telling us. It's so bad that our contract expired over a year ago, and we can't even get them to negotiate a new contract because they don't know what the price is gonna be yet. So they're trying to figure out what their water stuff looks like. This Dakota Mains Dam is gonna be something that happens 25 years from now, but it has to start today. As far as getting water from the river to the eastern South Dakota, just like Lewis and Clark did, going coming north. So we're trying to figure out, do we try and be proactive and, when we're gone in 25 years and we become a member of this entity so that we can get some water from them? We don't know what the city of Colton's gonna look like 30 years from now, how much water we're gonna need.
The question I would have is, currently we buy from Minnehaha. Would you ever see us buying per se from these guys versus Minnehaha?
It's
possible. Anything's
It's
possible.
we did talk about that. So Minnehaha is actually becoming a member on this too. So
Okay.
they will actually be buying rights on this also.
We-
This
we-
is just pretty much getting our say at the table too.
All
we
the
can either
surrounding
go through
communities are
the,
joining as
rural
well.
water, or we might be a different entity, and it might come right into town, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what it's gonna look like.
But
It's
the
just-
later
I mean,
you
it's-
join in the
it's-
process, the more expensive
It's,
it is.
do we rely on Minnehaha County to do the right thing on us for Colton, or do we? Like I said,
I talked to Minnehaha County Rural Water, and they said that we should become a member of the group. So in Hartford, Dells, a lot of the towns around us are already members of it.
Yeah, Colton, Humboldt, Crooks, Dells, Hartford. There was about 30 other participants.
And there was some talk, I don't know how that all went, do you remember about a second Lewis and Clark line possibly
I
coming?
think they've
Yeah, but
got-
we couldn't get in on that because it was already
That's
full.
happening in the
that was-
background too, but I don't know much about that.
I have a crazy question about this. Is it possible to tap in if Minnehaha's tapped out? What about Lake County, being that we're so close to them?
They're on Lewis and Clark, aren't they?
They're,
It took them 25 years to get it.
Yeah, Madison just got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just got Lewis and Clark.
well, I know Minnehaha County has a new plant that they built, but in Bowie County by Egan. That they're,
That's
Oh, is that
tied,
that
that's
big plant
tied
that's going
into
up there?
Big Sioux.
that's tied to Big Sioux, so it's gonna be a Big Sioux, Minnehaha County Rural Water split project.
Yep, so they can
And that's some of the
transfer.
reason why we haven't been able to negotiate a contract yet, because they're trying to figure out what that plant's gonna cost and how much water rates are gonna go up. So, to everybody, not just the city of Colton, but everybody that uses rural water.
Well, and the biggest thing too is they're gonna start bringing the hammer down on some other communities that are allocating too much water, not using what they're using. I know Hartford's one that, their ask is too much for what they're using, so they're gonna.
On these businesses that water the lawn when it's raining.
Well, they
So-
say it's 25 years out too, but with the way that we're expanding in this area in general, I mean, realistically, this could be more 15 years to 25.
Well, yeah, and they did say it could be 15, depending on how many
A
people.
lot of that probably has to do with funding. If they can get
Yeah.
funded quicker, they can probably get pipe coming this way faster.
Is it voting power or like
Yeah, what,
Yeah, that was my
the
next
size
question.
of,
What is
the
our,
size of your community
As a member,
is?
You'd have a vote. You'd feel that, you'd have, like Trevor said, you'd have a seat at the table more or less.
But then they would say, well, I don't care about you. I'm in Webster, South Dakota, and we need water way more than Colton, South Dakota does. So we have one vote.
But
but
not
everybody
one,
has one. vote,
everybody has one
Right.
vote.
Yeah, everybody has.
Falls has one vote.
Well, I
They're
don't
not
know.
in it, I don't think.
They're a member of it.
Okay, so Brookings, they're a lot bigger. They have one vote.
I can't speak for it, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Nowhere on any of their information did it say anything about based on population or anything like that.
all of a sudden, it's in the electoral college coming.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't need-
It'd be like the water line comes, it's going that way now.
Brookings gets 15 votes and
Yeah.
Well, would it be based on if you put in $6,000 instead of $3,000, you have two people at the table? I mean, it just depends on how much money you put
In
into
the-
it.
They had a like the bylaws and everything that I looked at, I didn't see any of that.
No, it just, the way they represented it is that every member gets one vote. And as of right now, I think would be at 30-some members.
The city council people.
And the city of Colton probably had to pick a representative
Right.
on behalf, to represent Colton too. So, that being said, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts about becoming members?
I think it'd be in our best interest, but that's my opinion.
I mean, it's
Water's
water.
gonna,
I mean,
water's gonna be worth more than gold.
And Michaela brought it up. She's like, "Hey, you heard of this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard about it." You don't really hear much about it. I talked to Ryan about it when we were talking about our contract a year ago. He was saying that this project's coming, but there wasn't no, "Oh, you guys better look into it" or anything like that. And then Michaela kind of brought it up, and then so I called Ryan at Rural Water. I'm like, "Hey, what do we do with this?"
Well, a resident brought it to me after seeing that Dells had passed a resolution at their last meeting, and so then I asked Crooks and Humboldt if they heard anything about it, and they didn't. So it was kind of like, oh, let's hurry up and find out some information about this. And once we found out more information, and we had a call with Weston and another employee from Banner who was over their water engineering. They said it was really good to be a part of it, even if Rural Water was a part of it.
So here's the executive committee members. This is on their website. Ryan Johnson, he's with the city of Sioux Falls. He's the president. Ron, vice president is Ron from Aurora rural water system. The secretary, Scott from Minnehaha Community Water Corp. Treasurers from the Sioux Rural Water System. And the other, and some just says other representative, gentleman from Grant Roberts Rural Water System. Municipal representative is gentleman from City of Brookings. And a regional rep is gentleman from Mid Dakota Rural Water System. I don't know what that means. It doesn't really give.
So there is a timeline to get on.
Do we have enough time? Can we table it until the 4th or not?
No.
So we could, no?
No. I actually, when we sat on the meeting, I told them that I'd give them a soft yes, but I need council approval. So that's where we.
And we
And
won't be
invoices
billed
invoices
until
won't
like
go.
November or
Yeah.
December.
Invoices won't go out until November
How much is it? Is it yearly?
yearly.
Yearly, it's a $3,000 base fee and then 25 cents per water account.
So this year, is this for next year, the following year? Or how
Yes.
does, okay.
Did you do any numbers on that? Is what our 25 cent?
Yeah, it came just under 3,200
Total.
total.
So it's 3,000 for the membership and then another 3,200 for.
No.
200.
That is the,
That is
Yeah.
the total.
okay. I'm tracking. I'm just reading more on there.
And somewhere on there, they have the list of the current members, but
Yeah, I've seen that too. There's a lot of larger communities that are in it. So membership benefits, as a Dakota Mainstem member, you'll be eligible to appoint a director.
Our annual dues will be $3,180. That'd be our annual dues.
Meeting or bylaws allow alternate director.
It's 3,000 per base, and then 25 cents per person for the population served. And Colton is at 200 or 720 people.
Can we take that out of our second penny? Seems like
That should be able to come out of our water fund.
our water fund.
What's that? Well, no, there's plenty in the water fund.
You can only use it for certain things.
Yeah.
they did say there is a chance to, we did ask, is there a chance to come back at this, later on down the road? And there is a chance, but there was no guarantee
And definitely not on the price.
and not on the price.
So they have regular board meetings every 4 months, and they do an annual meeting in February or March. And each city gets representation, one. You have to elect a representative to go to those meetings, and then they allow you to have a secondary one in case that individual can't make it to that meeting. So, and it doesn't specifically say each community has just a single vote, but
Get one representative.
yeah, whatever that means. No electoral colleges today.
It's a crapshoot. I mean, you don't know what's our needs gonna be in 30 years.
Right.
We know there's gonna be a water shortage. That's been stated. And we know that water, right now it's cheap, but I don't think it's gonna stay that way. Water is gonna go up in the eastern South Dakota. Unfortunately.
Yeah, crystal ball
As
to figure it out.
businesses keep building and residents keep building.
That's why they're building all these wastewater treatment facilities everywhere. It's because they're trying to figure out ways to mitigate some of it. So, I mean, you can't turn a corner and throw a rock and hit a wastewater facility plant anymore. They're everywhere.
32 million we put in ours.
That being said, is there a motion to approve, deny?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion from Joe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Brendan Bunger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Moving on to agenda meeting minutes.
I only found one mistake.
It is always on Chaz's name.
Yep.
Coming, you guys.
Always.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan.
you. It was toward the bottom. About,
It says Cass, Foster, and Sir
Yeah.
Chaz. Foster.
Been called worse, right?
I can say it too, but I want ears. Thanks for coming, Brendan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was back to
Okay.
3:30's gonna come real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, thanks for your input, Jamie.
Yes,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming.
Thanks for being
Appreciate it.
concerned.
So,
Thank you.
That sounds like-
Oh, no.
No.
we're being sincere. We need the feedback.
You
Yeah.
bet. We need
Yeah.
it.
When you said it, so you're good.
See ya.
Okay, anybody see anything else?
For the public time, John Randy, do you have the fire chief of the fire department?
Yeah.
And then Monty put in assistant chief.
Just to be more clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
2A.
fire chief. Chief of,
Where? Oh, on the
Okay.
agenda
Right here,
or?
2A.
public
On
time,
the regular monthly
the minutes.
2A.
It says
Instead of-
president of the.
Just put
yeah,
chief.
but
It should be-
chief of the Colton
He's
Fire
actually-
Department.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
then
okay.
And then for Monica, when you put assistant chief.
Okay, okay. Yes, now I understand.
Is he assistant or second assistant? I don't know how you.
You know,
Okay,
because,
yeah.
because later on I did the
Second
part
assistant?
about the council president and vice president. So that's where I think I got that.
Well, then on the one before, when you, it says here, you got a assigned president, vice president, are you supposed to capitalize the word president, and vice president?
Yeah.
I'm just,
No, that's good. That's good.
I'm under seven.
Minuscule. Make the corrections.
Very good feedback. I appreciate that.
When's the first year that city became incorporated? City of Colton became incorporated.
Well, yeah,
So it
under-
says-
Don't look, don't look.
It's in 98.
Yeah, we got, that's right.
He probably knew it right from on top of his head anyways. Who was the first mayor of City of Colton? Oh, did I stump you?
I don't know, go look at the records.
John Colton.
Could've been,
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see
I'll
anything.
make a motion to approve the minutes from last time.
I'll second it.
Second from Joe, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to claims. No concerns or issues, get a motion to approve claims.
Where's that sheet?
The Foreman bus one, we still getting, is that our portion that we would pay?
That's the last one. No, then we'll invoice the other.
Yes,
Other
so,
communities.
we'll invoice Baltic and Crooks,
So we took care of the
the initial.
initial, and then we
Yeah, so-
invoice them.
Okay,
So we'll get,
so we'll get money
two-thirds,
back in that one.
two-thirds
Yep.
back. Yes.
Claim for Bunny Construction denied.
Conflict of interest.
I wanted them to, my salesman to run it through, he was supposed to set up an account through for the city of Colton, and then all of a sudden I got a bill in the mail from him. So I was like, great.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Motion from Matt Watnick. Get a second.
I'll second.
Second, Julie Lyon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
I think everybody waits for you to say something.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like
we're
it's
moving on
matters.
to Ward One temporary resignation and an appointment. Since Tyler will be getting called out on active duty. And we're looking at. Yep. Diane's willing to come in and fill. We appreciate it because I like having a full council, so.
It's my honor being Tyler's going off to
I appreciate that.
do
Thank
our
you.
duty. As long as he keeps us in the MREs, we're good.
You got a box of them.
You want MREs? I got a case in my garage.
You sell one home with Larry.
I did.
You realize how many calories are in them things?
I know, they're not good.
I like
Oh,
them.
the
Some of
calories
those-
are 5,000-6,000 calories.
Oh, they're not even that anymore because they're not considered a full
When you're in
meal.
the
Oh,
field
really?
and you're hungry,
It's one meal.
they're
now.
good. Yeah, you make
See,
them
back in the
good.
day, they used to be an all-day meal. So yeah, they're 5,000-6,000 calories.
Yep.
Now it's not that way.
So now they're the size of a Kleenex.
No, they're still
Shrinkflation.
full size, but not as many calories.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll get Tyler's,
I just gotta read this.
temporary, well, no, you don't have to read it, I'll just sign it. I just need moving forward to next month, motion to appoint Diane.
I'll make a motion to appoint Diane. Welcome back.
Yep, I will second it. Oh, Chaz can second it.
Motion from Joe, second from
everybody
Chance,
find
all
your
those in
makeup.
favor say, I'll wait for Julie to get back.
Well, that'll make you feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Right over you.
What is the council appointments?
So every, like,
Oh,
we've
for
been having such
yeah.
a change of council.
for like what people are kind of,
What your role is and what what you're tasked to do, so. I'll go over that one.
So when they got a question, they call you
Yeah.
instead of Trevor.
Yeah. Well,
supposedly.
and yeah, supposedly. And technically, like, Julie was, and Chaz, our park and rec, and Julie did her job by going out and
Mhm.
the pool liner, and that's what I kind of want each one of you to do with your task.
But if anybody does have concerns, I didn't feel the need to post your personal
Phone number.
numbers. So if you
Brenda,
want,
once
if you
get
want
a
it,
custom to it, we'll give you a bigger role.
if you want it posted, I guess you can have it. Otherwise, I figured any concerns just can come
That's
to the
fine. We
city.
go
I
to the
think
dump
most people
about
know where
once
we
a
live
week anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, most people aren't gonna call us, they're still gonna call you.
It's fine.
I
We
think
have a
there-
city number.
I think there is some changes that can be made down at the dump too.
At the Rebel site?
Yeah,
As in,
just, I think we need to look at, do we need to look at putting a new road base and stuff like that down there?
I didn't think it's that bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad anymore. I haven't been down there for a while, so
I got a bunch of that asphalt today.
I'm getting rid of it out
I
there.
usually only make it down there in
Some of it, we need
fall.
to get rid of a bunch of it out there. I don't know where else to put it. It's got them big balls in it.
Wait till spring and put it all out there. It sinks in better. Right where you
Yeah.
buried the payload.
You come over and bag my hair.
That's a whole load right there.
I do want to say we thanks to Pete for, what was that inspection call that we just had?
All the wastewater inspections.
We just had a wastewater inspection from DANR. Representative came and wanted to see a whole bunch of things
Kinda
and
nitpicky.
very nitpicky, but they sent their findings and we got them today. And really, they only had a couple things to say. And one was bringing up a incident from over 5 years ago.
Ammonia, we were over limit on our ammonia when we were discharging 5 years ago, and they're dinging on us now. And then there's a couple record keeping issues that, oh,
And that's it though.
once a week, you gotta go to the lift station and write down the hours and stuff like that. So, just
Very
little
minor.
nitty little
Good
stuff.
deal.
they're gonna find
Those are the
something.
details.
Yeah.
Yep, they gotta find something.
Which I thought if that's all they found, like,
Mhm.
that's great.
Okay, let's go on with this vote. Let's keep this
Okay, yeah,
moving.
yep, yeah, I know. Okay, back to, we had, Joe made the motion, right?
Yep.
And then a second by who?
Chaz,
Chaz.
To
Okay, all
appoint
those in fa-
Diane.
Diane, has temporary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, you can see them here, this is my council appointments. So, oh, one thing we gotta fix, I just see, is Raskin. Oh, wait, never mind, Raskin. Never mind, sorry. But,
I need to just take her oath now.
then, no, she'll do that on
Next
next week.
Oh, okay.
One thing to add, Chance's point out, I did forget economic, I gotta point someone from council of the economic development group, and I'm gonna keep Chaz on that.
Oh, okay.
Okey doke.
Just gotta add that down here.
Yep.
Are you gonna make a like do an official copy of this and get it to everybody?
Like, what do you mean?
You can have this back.
I mean, this
For
is,
the claims?
yeah. you can
No,
do it.
for
No, for your assignment.
appointments.
I'm gonna bring it back.
You have it, take home. And this will be posted on the website, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna
Yeah.
make adjustments,
Oh,
so.
wait.
Oh, the
yeah,
only
for
adjustment was just.
Oh, just him?
Chaz at
Oh.
I don't
his
have that
economic,
one.
I forgot about the economic development group. I had that.
Okay.
Very last page.
No, this is my very last page, is the oath.
I'm missing one.
I think Evans, he's gonna be here anyway.
What are you missing?
This page.
Appointments.
Oh, the
Here you go,
appointments?
Julie.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can hang this out by where people put in their water bill
Yeah.
checks too. Like, is that what you meant, or?
Then we can put it on the website when we get to that point too.
Mhm.
Okay. Moving on. 7H, the budget.
Might not hurt to put our city emails with on this document
Well, I
somewhere.
thought about it,
I don't
but
think a lot of us check.
nobody's been using
Nope.
theirs.
I am horrible at checking
So-
it.
Oh, yeah, I
never-
never turned my computer on.
I don't
haven't-
have the
I gave my
computer at
computer
home.
back.
Computer.
I tried to add mine to my phone, because you can have multiple
Yeah.
emails on your phone, and it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I have it on, I have the mayor one on my phone.
Yeah.
I just got mine working today.
Do you guys want your personal emails on there, or would you rather, or do you
No.
want a point of contact, or would you
No.
rather just have
I'll use the council email. I need help to get it. It won't load on my phone for some reason. So maybe
Okay.
we need to
I
come
will-
in and
Chad,
Yeah, we'll
Call.
check with,
Yeah.
I called, I forwarded to you and then James.
yeah, James is usually the one that,
from
We
Rastec.
had
Yeah.
some settings
Yes.
that were wrong on my email, that's why I couldn't use it.
Okay, so I probably,
I could receive emails through my public works email, which I don't use, but I'm gonna start
Yep.
trying to switch over to.
Yep.
But I couldn't send one. It just kept kicking
Okay.
back.
yeah,
I feel
if-
like the security,
About-
email security has gotten stricter recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has something to do with it.
when I get back, we'll do it. So I really don't care now.
You changed some settings or whatever.
They can just go home. If I don't want to answer, I won't answer.
No.
So do you guys want to have first reading on this next month, or
No, first reading has to be this meeting.
it has to be this
Has to
meeting?
be this meeting.
It's a lot of work to go through yet, then
Her, what is it?
the
Statute.
codified law. or-
Codified law
Yeah,
in the first 10 days of September. First reading has to happen.
Is there any,
Well,
and see, the only concern I have is you can see what we had last year, where we were currently sitting and where we would have ended in 23. So you would have, so like we got the 22 actuals. So we know the full total of what we received in 22. We knew we were sitting in 23 and then what we budgeted for in 23. And then we can make a decision on how much to request. That's the problem with going through this to try to figure out numbers, not unless we keep everything relatively the same.
Well, we can't because we got the Pete's truck. We already paid for that, so that money will come out to different. But then we talked about setting up one for equipment for the payloader. So,
Mhm.
and that's just one example.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Pete's pickup came out of water and sewer, so
It came
obviously,
out of a bunch
yeah.
of different
So
ones.
when
No,
I
water,
talked to
sewer.
Toby, he said you can do the first reading, you can do the second reading, you can publish this, and then you can just do the change, like you said, the reallocation. It's not like doesn't
So
have
your
to be-
reading doesn't have to be finite
No.
on it?
Well, you would have to start reallocating a lot of stuff then.
and then that gets dirty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But no, but I know what you're saying, like, I mean,
and he did say most of it does stay the same, except for the two changes you guys were talking about. You just raise it by 3 to 5%.
yeah.
And then
Unless you
he
guys wanna-
he said we would do one reallocation request with all the changes.
So what's this one?
That is what the actual read is. That is the totals. So this 2650 is for the mayor council. You flip the page, the 2050 is the next one. But it's not really, I mean,
This is
It's not a breakdown.
This is a cliff note.
this is the
Yes.
cliff notes of the
Yeah.
Right.
breakdown.
Right. Yes.
And see, like
And we're
last
only
year,
doing it is because we're required to.
well, yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
at this moment,
yeah.
it's not our final though.
No, I mean, you guys want to do a special meeting just for budget?
Mhm.
Keep it on.
Like we
I'll
did
keep it
last
on.
time. We did that last time. I
Just
thought it
keep
went
it on.
really well.
Well,
Yeah,
we
and
can-
strictly budget, no other
just budget.
items.
So we can,
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
you'll have to,
no public time, no nothing, just budget. Well, they
Well,
can-
you have to have public time, but.
you'll have to do her oath then,
but-
so she can
Yeah.
partake.
Yep,
'Cause
yeah,
Yes.
so,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with doing like the first read and then hopefully before our special meeting, we can get a more up to date on where we're currently sitting and stuff like that. I don't know how much work there's left to be done for doing that. It's just nice to know what did we end up making so far,
Mm-hmm.
in 23. I mean, we have as of 8 of 23, but what about full 23 in the revenue side of things?
Mm-hmm.
well, then we can kind of go through this and I know Brendan's new to this, so we can help him break down how to read this budget too. So he,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is overwhelming the first time you look at this and go like.
Because
you know,
Yeah, because my thing is, being in the positive is always good. But if we could start setting away money, say, into the pool CD, you know, and we got extra money in that account that we can, okay, let's take this 10 and put it in the pool CD, or let's take this money and move it and save it here. I would like to allocate that money, and we can't do that without an up-to-date of what we received in 23, because that should give us a reflection of what we're going to have in 24, relatively close, you know, maybe plus 3%, or because most of the stuff we always figured light on our revenues anyways.
Mhm.
Have you gotten the insurance renewal yet?
I did
The estimate?
receive something and it was, but I didn't receive it from Bowen, so I still need to ask. But the one thing I did get, it was about 35,000, which was about what we paid last year.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You know, because you know, really we should talk salaries on what kind of raise we want to give them to, because we're going to need to adjust that total there.
We pay him?
Yeah. I think there's still a lot of stuff to be discussed, and it'd be nice to have it on before the final read.
What do you think you can?
You know, I really can't tell you. That's not my. It would be based on when Toby can come and how long he thinks it would take. I mean, he's way more of an expert at it.
No, I know, and you're lucky to have Toby sitting there kind of guiding you and teaching
We're
you.
lucky.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
we're lucky as a city because
Mhm.
Tobias is super smart in this. I've already had several contacts with him just on the budget and just talking to him. Sometimes you're like, well, hold on.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Boy, he
When
wasn't
you got
able
the
to
first
come.
reading done?
The first reading has to be tonight.
Within the first 10 days, is
Of
what you said,
September,
right?
of September.
Of September. When does the second read have to be done?
I think October, but I'll have to double check for sure.
Okay.
But he had got COVID, so that's why he wasn't able to come very
Okay.
much before this meeting.
Let's try to figure out, make sure it ain't the first 10 days of October.
Okay, I can reach out to council. We can set up. We'll preferably look in October to set up that actual.
I remember we got, what is it, October 7th, we're doing that,
Mhm.
our meeting now, so that's the first week of October.
Yeah, we can do it during the week too, can't we?
Yeah, we can do it in a week.
Yeah, or towards the end of September, you know, maybe the last week before,
Something. We'll find something. In there.
something, but I mean, you know, I'm okay approving this for the time being, but it'd be nice to have a better picture for the final read.
Well, and that's what I figured that we would do tonight is do the first reading on this. You guys got this packet now to be going through and to be looking at. And
Kind of poke, because I know last year we had, like I said, we had that 100 and whatever thousand for the streets.
yes.
I see we're sitting here at 18. I'd like,
Is that, what's that, the second penny, it says 100 and something.
that was for the street repair.
And from what
Yeah,
we
but
can
you go
tell,
over here, the general fund, we got 105 still in streets and.
Do we?
And
Am I just
you gotta
missing
go
that?
streets R and improvements. This is probably breaking down all Pete's
Oh, wages.
wages.
Yeah, okay.
so you guys had wanted to know where
Can you
that
go down
money,
there, Matt?
Yeah, right here. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
you guys had wanted to know where that $500,000 in the CD came from. And it appears that it came from the second penny account.
No, we don't have that money in the second penny.
Well, no, when Seth
Not right
did it,
now.
when Seth did it, when we initially did that whole deal, we found that we pay off that one loan for 80 some
Yeah.
thousand, there's 500 and some thousand that we can move to general fund. Well, it was the whole deal. Okay, yep. We'll take that, since we had that money, let's put it into a CD.
Yep.
I don't think he did his legwork or is connecting the dots correctly.
He
and
didn't put it in the software.
correctly, so it technically says it's coming
Coming out of second penny, but
Because
yeah, I was gonna
it
say,
originally did come out of second penny.
yeah, because I was gonna say, I thought we moved that to the general fund or wherever it got moved to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you were wanting to know, if it
Well,
came from like,
Yeah, I'm just looking at, you go back to the summaries and you look at, the ending balances there's never been 500,000 even in the general fund. The ending balance, I think, I looked at it on my phone. I gotta find it in here. As of 8/23, general fund 217, third penny 44, second penny 150, water balance, it's almost all the way at the back. You know, so that's what I'm getting at. The only way you can find 750 or $500,000 is if you combine more than, you know, whether it's the water or the sewer. Well, I suppose it could come all out of the sewer, but a lot of that was still grant money in there. Or loan money. So the only way you can get it is combining accounts to pull that. That's why I'm saying there is water and sewer money tied into that 500,000.
Okay. Well, talk with Tobias. I'll reach back out to you, me and you'll have a conversation. I'll reach out back to council and we'll set up a time. We'll go forward with that, so.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, I don't know where your guys' software's at.
But it's unfortunate, we're doing a lot of fixing from.
Yes, from past years.
So
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's where Tobias is coming in. He's kind of doing the past, trying to fix the past. Kayla's working on the future also.
Maybe because the software doesn't let you move forward until it's fixed from the past.
So, okay, suppose we gotta have a motion to. For sure. Okay, I get a motion to approve the ordinance number 1-2025 budget.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Chaz. I get a second.
I'll second it.
Second from Matt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay.
You made the motion.
Yeah. Is there any other discussion?
No, just if you could find out the second reading and then we can all.
Yeah.
do
I
a
think we
group
just, then we can
chat.
take an hour and dedicate a whole hour.
Yeah.
Go through this with no other distraction of what's on the agenda or getting pushed.
Yeah.
No, oh, we gotta have.
Well,
public
yeah,
comment.
yeah, but more than likely, nobody's gonna show up unless they're listening.
Yeah, I mean, they're more than welcome to listen to the budget, come and listen to the budget, but there is nothing on the agenda of that money spent or anything like that, so.
If you haven't, make sure you get Dan put back in the text group.
Yep, we gotta get that. Oh, the only thing that you will have to put on that is her ordinance or her oath of office.
Yep.
Yeah,
First thing.
for the next month.
And then I suppose we gotta approve these minutes.
Yep. We'll have to do this.
Old business and new business.
Yep. Okay, that being said, get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion from Joe.
I will second that one.
Second. from Tyler, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Who do we wanna get a hold of the county on that speed limit sign at the south?